It's a little informal, so if you don't mind, I jump in with different information. But Croatia, let me back up. Last April, the Pope visited America, North America. Well, April. What was his intention? Well, he was going to have his birthday there. And then he was going to meet with several leaders. Now, this, of course, rings alarm bells. It should ring alarm bells for all Seventh-day Adventists. When a Pope makes a major visit and the President of the United States goes to meet him and brings him right into the White House for a private meeting with the White House, and then meets with the senators, the representatives, religious leaders of America, the Israel's leaders, something ought to ring an alarm. If you have any Adventist blood in you, you should immediately recognize the great controversy is happening right before our very eyes. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. The Religious Liberty Department of the General Conference did not agree with you. They said nothing is happening. They've tried to verify it, and they said, we cannot verify anything is happening. And so basically, be calm, nothing is happening. Well, I'm sorry. We know better than that. Now, there was a lot of rumors floating around about secret meetings happening and everything, and they tried to the General Conference did a good job trying to verify those rumors, and they were not able to find the proof for them because they were secret meetings. However, we know what's happening even if we can't verify the rumors, because the great controversy tells us what's at stake. Secondly, John Paul II stated what his mission was: to get the Sunday worship in the laws of every single country, in a document called Dominus Dies. Now, I wrote a letter at that time and sent it out. I have an email list of 24,000 people, and I sent it out to all 24,000. I said, in Spanish and English, asking for prayer and asking for fasting on the day that the Pope was supposed to meet with the Senate. Pray and fast, asking God to give us more time, because if the Pope gets his way, America's liberty will soon be totally closed up. Well, is there anything wrong with asking for prayer? I didn't say that the rumors were correct. I didn't make any allegation. I just said it's time for God's people to pray. Because the Christian service says, when we see the approaching dangers, we should arise and work for time and eternity. We should not remain silent. So when a Pope comes to America and the President goes out and everybody receives him, we should just sleep? Excuse me, not David Gates. And I hope not any other Adventist. So it's time to pray. So I sent out the email. Well, unfortunately, fortunately, hundreds of responses came back, more than any other email I sent out, and entire churches were fasting and praying together. That's the fortunate part. The unfortunate part was the editorial in the Adventist Review basically ridiculed the idea that in April 10 of 2008 and said, nothing is happening. We feel indignant that you would not trust us at the General Conference to tell you when something's going to happen. We're right next to the Washington, D.C., and we will let you know when something's happening. And this is a repugnant idea that you would even think anything's happening when we have telling you nothing is happening. Now, you know what? Sometimes in North America, we get so calm and sleeping that those of us that live outside of North America can see more than those that live in North America. Right? When you live next door to something, it's hard to see the big picture. You step outside and look in, you can see more. So you see, sometimes we got comfortable in North America, and those of us that live in South America or the Philippines can look at North America and see a bigger picture. And so I don't think they meant to do it by mistake that way. Should I say, I don't think they meant it that way like it came out. But on the other hand, it's time to wake up. So I sent the email out and I said two things. It's time to pray. Secondly, we have a national crisis coming upon us, an economic crisis. And Sister White said that national collapse, national apostasy will be followed by national ruin. What do we mean by national apostasy? We mean by Sunday law. Correct? Now, I am grateful for my division president and my union president that they always stand with me, and when I talk really hard and say some hard things, they put their head on the block for me, because they said somebody has to say something, and I'm grateful that I have leadership that really are godly men. And of course, you have leadership too, and godly men are located around in all levels of the leadership, at the General Conference down, but not everybody shares the same view as our godly leadership. You need to understand, we're in a point where people are polarizing, including leadership, over the major issues that are happening. Well, I said if there's a national collapse happening, it means there must be a national Sunday law somewhere coming up soon. Because before the final collapse, there must be a Sunday law. We always thought that when the Sunday law came, we would all see it, and then we could know the collapse was coming. But it's turning out to be the opposite. Everybody can see the collapse coming, but we can't see the Sunday law. That's why God said that we would live in deceptive times. Very hard to see. But since we know that collapse comes after the Sunday law, we can see the collapse. What conclusion can we draw about the Sunday law? There's something happening behind the scenes. Now, what were the rumors about the Sunday law? The rumors were that the Christian Coalition, the Catholic Campaign for America, and other Christian leaders had gotten together, had a secret meeting coordinated by the National Security Agency, which is the highest security agency of the United States government. They had a secret meeting with senators, a cardinal from Rome, and all these leaders in order to plan 10 things to get voted by the government. Way down the line was one kind of innocuous. Vote a family day where nobody can work. Interesting, they don't call it a Sunday law. They call it a family day. And you can't work, you can't sell, you can't buy on that day. Isn't it interesting? It was included in the list of 10 things like encourage the family, encourage this, encourage that. Good things, all packaged together with a lot of nice packaging, and there was that little sly line. Now, the reason we know, the reason these rumors went around is because there was an Adventist pastor by the name of Alan Fine that was asked to be the vice chairman of the Christian Coalition in his chapter. He was invited to that meeting, and he was the one that squealed. He was the one that told what was happening. Well, when the General Conference tried to get a hold of him, he did not want to be quoted in an open paper because he was holding an office, and he didn't want to be quoted in the Adventist Review as saying, Pastor Alan Fine said there was a secret meeting. Do you understand? He just kind of let it leak, right? But people who let things leak don't come out and don't want to be quoted. Well, in this rumor that went around, the document that was circulated said this happened, this happened, this happened, and this happened. And the General Conference said none of it happened, it was only a rumor, it could not be verified. Well, we were finally able to get a hold of Pastor Alan Fine after I sent my email, and Pastor Alan Fine said everything in that document happened exactly as stated. We finally got the evidence from the first-hand evidence of the man who was there. So there is secret meetings. They were planning to pass these laws. They are planning to stick them in secretly and get them voted before the rest of America knows what's happening. So he confirmed it. Of course, he's no longer the vice chairman of the Christian Coalition anymore because they discovered who leaked the information. Okay, but for such a time as this, God put him in there so that we would know what was happening. So instead of saying nothing is happening and destroying the evidence, we need to realize that something is happening, and the plan is this: to pass a law secretly so that it can be enforced later. Most of America won't even know about the law when it's passed, but it will be enforced whenever it's convenient. Now, Sister White said it would be by popular demand. The enforcement will probably be by popular demand. But the law is coming in by popular demand from religious leaders. The top religious leaders in North America, Catholic and Protestant, are demanding to the government that this law be approved. Not the general populace in general. Sister White said it would not be the lawmakers that bring it, it would be the people that ask the lawmakers to pass it. And so this is happening. Now, how close are we to a Sunday law? Croatia already has their law. It begins January 1. It was voted this year. When I came through Brazil, I discovered that Brazil already has a Sunday law. It begins in January 1 of 2009. Excuse me? What is happening here? And I just received a document stating that Rome is trying to get a Sunday law voted so that for January of next year throughout all of Europe. But there's an eerie silence about North America. If you were a betting person, which we're not betting people, but if we would bet South America is getting Sunday laws beginning in January of 2009, Europe is getting Sunday laws beginning in January of 2009, How much would you like to bet that something is happening in North America for January of 2009?